Hello there guys, welcome to video number 92. This video is on solving quadratics graphically. Now we've done a video on solving equations graphically, but this one is where we've got quadratic equations. We're going to solve those graphically. Keywords I've got for you are intersection and curve. The intersection is the point where two lines meet, and the curve is the shape of the graph of a quadratic. It's a U-shaped curve or an N-shaped curve, and we call them parabolas, but we refer to instead of calling it a line, we call it a curve. Okay. Right. Method states, plot the coordinates of the equation. The non-calculator method requires careful substitution of the given x values. The calculator method is fun and easy. See video 91. So that's if you have to draw the equation yourself. All right. The questions I've got here, I've drawn them in already. All right. So those steps are if you have to do it yourself. Once you've drawn the graph, you'll need to find the points of intersection that solve the given equation. You may be asked to identify the turning point of the graph. To do that, choose 2 points where the y value is the same. The x-coordinate value of the turning point is halfway between them. Sub that into the equation to find the y-coordinate value. Okay, so it seems like an awful lot of information there in that method, but I'll try my best to go through that for you in each of the questions. Now, when we solve a quadratic, right, what we're doing is we're looking for the points of intersection with the x-axis. That's what we're looking for. They are called the roots of the equation. So if we say, what are the roots of the equation for A? It says use the graph of y equals x squared plus 1 to find solutions to x squared plus 1 equals 0. All right, we will notice that the graph does not go through the x-axis. All right, therefore there are no solutions to that given equation. All right. So that would be our answer to that one, no solutions. Now that's not specifically going to be a question, but it's a thing that you do need to know, all right? And they will test you on your understanding of that, all right? If the graph is above the x-axis, there are no solutions to that particular equation. Nothing works in there, okay? There is no value of x you could put into that equation that would make it equal 0, basically, is what I'm saying, all right? In B, we've got to identify the turning point of the graph. Now we can do that, all right, and that's very simple, all right. What we can see there is that it turns at 0, 1, all right. That is the very minimum point of the graph. It's very clear to see that. So the turning point of that graph is 0, 1, okay. Now in question 2, we've got to use the graph of y equals x squared plus x minus 3 to find the solutions to x squared plus x minus 3 equals 0. Okay, so what's happened here is that we've got the y has been changed for a 0, right? And when y equals 0, that is the x-axis, and that's the point of intersection of the x-axis is what we're looking for, the solutions here. All right, so we want the x values of, well, let's take a little zoom in on this one and see, because it's going to be difficult to see otherwise. Right, and then we can zoom back out again and write it in. So we've got the solution here on this side, all right, that we can see, all right, which is somewhere between 1 and 2, right, and somewhere between 1 and 1.5, maybe 1.25 is what I would use there, right? We're gonna say that that's our answer to that question. All right, zooming back out, get rid of that. I'd say that x is equal to 1.25. Okay, I've used the graph to get the solution. Now I can't get the other solution because I can't see where it goes through the x-axis. All right, so there's my answer to that one. All right, it might say where x is more than 0 or something like that, in which case you take the positive answer and not the negative answer anyway. All right, in B, we've got to identify the turning point of the graph. Well, let's have a little zoom in again. Let's see if we can have a look at that. Right, now the turning point of the graph, you can see it's below these 2 points here. Now this is very difficult to see, I know it is, but this is going down in 2s. Each one of these units is 2, minus 2, minus 4, minus 6. So we can see that this and this point here, these 2 points, they are minus 3. All right, now if they're both minus 3, right, let's use our method. Let's zoom out. Let's use the method that we wrote here. Choose 2 points where the y value is the same. Well, they're both minus 3. The x-coordinate of the value of the turning point is halfway between those 2 points. All right, so you can see that is there. All right, we can see it's halfway between those two, which is very clearly negative 0.5 for the x value. But what's the y value? Well, we've got to substitute that back in to find the y value. Now, I'm going to bring the calculator in to do that substitution. All right, because I don't fancy doing that without. And that's going to go into this equation here. So negative 0.5 squared. I'll just pop the brackets in, because anytime you do negative numbers, you definitely have to use brackets. I always tend to anyway, for whenever I substitute any number in. And then minus 3. And we'll see what y equals. There you go, I'll pop that x value in, and y is equal to, let's use a decimal, minus 3.25. Okay, so minus 3.25. And that looks to be a very reasonable answer, doesn't it? Because it is definitely lower than 3. And there we go. All right, so we've got that answer to that particular question. If you haven't got a calculator for one of those questions, it won't be an awkward number like minus 0.5 that you would have to substitute in. Okay. Right, let's move myself over and have a look at the third question. The third one, we've got a and b here. So y equals minus x squared minus x plus 2. I think we should have use that to estimate the solutions to this equation here. So minus x squared minus x plus 2 equals minus 3. Now, it doesn't say equals 0 this time. All right, now let's imagine that we've made y equal this equation here, which we have, all right, and y equals also this. All right, now where is the line of y equals that? Let's have a little zoom in again, if we can, and then get a line out and draw the line of y equals 3. Well, there's the line of y equals, oh sorry, minus 3. I was going to say that doesn't make any sense. There's the line of y equals minus 3, there. That is it, right? Now, hopefully that makes sense to you. If it doesn't, go and watch the equations of the lines video. Right, we need to find the solution. So what are the solutions? Estimate them. Right, well, that means the x values, please, at that particular point on the y-axis. All right, that's what we're looking for. So I would suggest that we would say that is probably minus 2.8 and probably 1.8. So we go up from the line and we just go, well, let's have that value there and that value there. All right, you can see where the points of intersection are that I've gone from, and I say, yeah, that's probably about minus 2.8, probably about 1.8. okay, maybe that's just a little bit more than minus 2.8, but the graph is never going to be perfect because you've either drawn it, well, it's never going to be perfect if you've drawn it yourself. Okay, now I'm going to zoom out of that and then I'm going to get my pen again and that will disappear. But we've got minus 2.8 for the x value. I don't know why I'm putting a bracket around that because I'm not doing it as a coordinate. X equals minus 2.8 or 1.8. And there we go. There's our two solutions to that one. Now, B, you've got to identify the turning point of the graph. And when you identify the turning point of the graph, that's a little bit awkward because we've got, well, it's not really that awkward. It's just the same sort of thing as what we were doing before. We've got the two points that have got that, what's the same value? That's what I'm trying to get at there. 2 points have got the same value on the y-axis there. You've got y is 2 and y is 2 here. Halfway between that would be minus 0.5 again. So we'll have that value for x, minus 0.5. And then once again, we'll just substitute that value, minus 0.5, into this particular equation, and we'll see what we get. So minus 0.5, oops, let's put in the minus in front of that, because it's negative. Oh my goodness, what am I doing? Minus 0.5, 0.5, close bracket, square that, minus 0.5 plus 2. There we go. 2.25. Done. And that does make sense as an answer, doesn't it? That looks like it is the y value of 2.25. All right, so I hope all of that makes sense to you. I've chucked in as much different stuff as I could possibly chuck in for you there, I think, on this particular one. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks very much for watching. I hope you watch another one, and if you do, you'll see me in the next one. Bye.